All right, here we are again. I never thought I was gonna buy a different bike on 2024. To be quite honest, I was pretty happy with the FC, but one day I woke up and said, you know what, I want something different. And when I was looking at bikes, I decided that I wanted to kind of go back to something that I had in the past, like something that I had experienced before, but I did not have the expertise to allow me to enjoy it or to work on the bike the way I should or would or could, now that I know a little bit more about bikes, right? So I had this bike maybe 10 years ago, and I'm now in a place where I feel like I want to enjoy it and have a different experience and see, you know, it's having a motorcycle with less horsepower, you know, a real issue. And so I'm just gonna be really kind of falling in love with this bike and seeing how I can make it my own. So let's just do the first couple of modifications. First modification is gonna cost me nothing. I'm going to be using my pliers just so I can get rid of these baffles inside of the exhaust. Yeah, I really like the sounds of the GPR, but I really wanted for the bike to sound a little bit louder. So I think we're just gonna be removing them, see if I like it, and maybe keeping it that way. So this is the sound of the GPR with the baffles inside. Let's remove the baffles. I'll be lying if I tell you that I do not like loud bikes. So just like that. That was more uneventful. Alright, so now I'm going to turn it over and see if I can hear any difference. Alright, so now I'm going to remove this shield so that I can clean this exhaust. I mean, it's not horrible, but if I can, and if the exhaust is like exposed like this one, I like to try to keep it, you know, whoosh. I try to keep it as clean as possible so it looks kind of nice. And of course, it's a new bike to me, so I have the desire and I like to kind of, you know, make sure that it looks great. I just did this on my FC, and essentially what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to sand it out with 200 to 21st, and then I'm just gonna step it up to like 600, and then I'm just gonna kind of wipe it, and you'll see how, you know, clean it's gonna look. I either put a little bit on the sandpaper or just on the pipe, doesn't matter. Now you can kind of picture how is it going to be. This is just step number one, so the effect is going to be dramatic, but then we're just going to have to continue, you know, throughout, so I can kind of clean it up. And I'm being quite honest, like, best way to do this is just to remove everything from the bike, but I'm not gonna go through that. I just want to kind of make it a little bit decent, and at least at a first glance you can kind of see the bike, and you can see, you know, pipes that are clean, and it just looks nice. It's just after 600, so this is the last one. We'll clean it up and then we keep moving. Alright, this is after 1000. I'm pretty happy with this. I can keep going, but I don't want to make it shiny. I don't finish versus just having a pipe that looks clean. Okay. Perfect. I think that looks great. For contrast, the pipe looks like this, and it used to look like this.
This might not be the most important thing, but you know, a good idea just to have your bike clean, not only on the outside but also inside, specifically underneath the seat. So yeah, I hate just to kind of, you know, getting my hands dirty every time I have to deal with my bike, even if it's lifting the tank or kind of even lifting the seat. So just a good idea just to kind of have everything clean, so it makes it a little bit more pleasant when you're dealing with your bike.
Besides maintenance intervals at 7,500 for valves on this bike, the only thing that I honestly hate is this thing. First of all, like, Jesus, why so big? This is insane. So anyhow, I do powder coating in case you didn't know, but I do not have an oven this big right now just to powder coat this part. And eventually the plan is just to get rear sets for the bike, because I don't plan on doing a lot of like two up riding. So I'm going to focus on only having a rear set for myself. So I don't need this, but there's nothing I can do about this right now. I'm not gonna cut it, although I could, but I'm not gonna do it. So I'm just going to paint it to hide it. So I'm going to paint it black so it blends with the bike. So I'm going to be removing this right now, and I'm going to do the disassembly on the bike as much as possible, and then I'm just going to be removing this side, and then we're going to be moving to the other side where we're going to have to support the bike in order to remove it, because in case you didn't know, some of the assembly kind of keeping the side stand in the same place kind of share the structure with this. So we're going to be kind of lifting the bike so I can kind of keep it balanced and I can remove it without having to use the side stand. So let's get to it. And now I'm going to be using a 24 or a 15, 16. It's about the same. This is 24. Yep. So I'm gonna start slow, because if there's Loctite, I might want to heat it up. Okay. That's okay. Not a whole lot of resistance. Removing this is easy, but it can be tricky if this is not something that you do all the time. So just let's rotate this way so it has more to go. So I'm just gonna be using this to pry. I just remove this, and this should release the pin. I'll push it with the screwdriver. Now you can see that it came the other side because I pushed it with my screwdriver. I'm going to pull, and then what I want you to pay attention to, in case if you haven't done this in the past, actually not this one, so keep it like this. I'm going to put it down, and I want you to keep track of this, because in the front, if I look at this one, that one has a spring that's keeping this from like staying like this and then just always returns. This one, you want a different mechanism, because you want it to go up and stay, because when you're not riding with another person, it's just gonna stay like that. But the way they do it is by having a few balls on the inside that get in one of the holes in here. So I'm just gonna pull it, and you can see there's a ball right there. You see the ball? So, oops. So that ball came from the left side. So that ball is actually getting here, and that will help it to kind of stay in this position whenever it's up. So now I have all of this, and I'm going to put it down. And you're going to remove the pin that's holding the, or this, which is holding the pin. Put it to the side. I'm going to push it with my, and now I'm going to do this. I'm not moving like so. Sometimes it frees up a little bit. Now you have the pin, you have this, and then you have this. This is the tricky part, because when you're putting this back, you have to ensure that this is sitting here, right? And then this is on the inside, while you're keeping everything together and ensuring that this is inside of that. Okay. Okay. Second one, I know they go in order like that, and I'm actually gonna move everything related to the front. Okay, so the process is the same. On this side, I'm going to start by removing the bolt on the shifter, which I'm going to need I think it's a number 10. Okay, so I can remove this before. This is on a ball joint or on the inside, so you can keep rotating even though it's here. Okay, one out. Here's the, now carefully remove this. You have your, and now I'm going to pull it like so, and you see the ball was on the right side. And now we're only missing this number 8, which is out. And we should be able to remove it as so. Double check this, you see? Even though there's a bolt that's helping, supporting the structure, there's nothing still, so bike it's upright. Whew, this is messy, my goodness. So I'm just gonna soak this in solvent right now, just so I can get rid of all that, and we'll clean it up, and hopefully it's gonna be looking better. So let me just go ahead and put this on, and we should be good to go here. I love the contrast. This is exciting. This is how the part looks right now, and it just picture this as opposed to the horrendous thing that we had before. Well, this is exciting. At this point, I'm just gonna enjoy, putting the bike together again, and I'll show you a couple clips so you can see how the bike is looking now that I have installed, the painted rear set. So from this point on, I'm just going to focus on some of the maintenance and some other stuff that I want to do on the bike, and primarily just to kind of keep it up to date and trying to make it look as pretty as possible. I really want to continue to fall in love with this bike and enjoy it as much as possible, and then just use it as a bike and stop focusing so much in like horsepower and really paying attention to the stuff that's gonna make it better and it's gonna make it look the way I want to. If you have any questions, please let me know. I'll be happy to answer any questions and also learn from you if you have any pointers for me. So I already have 2 other videos coming out, and I already ordered the timing belt for this bike, and even though I did the change, or actually the belts were changed back in 2019, less than 1,000 miles ago, it might be almost like 5 years, so I think it's about time for me to change them, so I'm going to be replacing them soon. So be back and we'll hopefully go through this process together. Thank you for watching.